Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ed from Uncivil Revolt, and I'm here with Nixie from Stitched Up Heart. We are at the Agora in Cleveland, Ohio. What's up, Nix?
Hey,
how are you?
This guy.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How you been?
I am very good. Glad to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a year, I think.
It's been a year,
so,
and this is awesome.
Yeah.
So we got a few questions that we want to ask you tonight.
Super personal questions.
Do you want to know it? No.
You can get personal. I don't care. I'm an open book. So.
Nice. But they had asked some fans for some questions, and then a couple are from Joe and Brandon from Uncivil Revolt. And the first question, who were your musical influences growing up, and who are some of them now?
It's actually kind of weird because, well, as you know, in middle school, high school, I was in punk rock stuff and hardcore, Minor Threat and stuff like that, Black Flag, Anti-Flag, stuff like that. And then it's changed over the years because there's new bands and new genres that take over. But then I also have this Ella Fitzgerald, Bobby Darin, Louis Armstrong kind of jazzy thing, which also kind of somehow forms into what makes the music now. You know, it's got a jazz, but supplements of hardcore, and I would call it metal pop at this point. If you're gonna just put it in a category, it's metal pop. But yeah, and then I try to keep that jazz element, that raw kind of flavor to the voice.
Anybody you can give a shout out to nowadays that maybe you listen to?
Nowadays, I've been listening to Bring Me the Horizon a lot lately.
Okay.
And I think it's a good example of what we're actually kind of doing, because we were a lot heavier as far as screaming went.
Right.
But it's weird because this next record is going to be heavier music, but it's not going to be as much screaming. Mm-hmm. So it's I'm screaming less, but the music's heavier, so it doesn't really change it. But
right.
with them they went super pop kind of, but still with that rock kind of thing.
You're actually kind of answering one of my
the Sempiternal album is my favorite for sure. The newer album is really cool too, but I think Sempiternal is kind of what ideally we're kind of moving towards, something similar.
Very good, very good. All right, next question. You may remember this. You had won a reality show called Redemption Song, and you recorded a video, I Miss Those Days, with Mr. James Decker, your drummer now in Stitched Up Heart.
We met. Mm-hmm.
And what made you decide to change your sound from what you did back in, I think that was 08 or 09, to what you're doing now?
Well, I kind of got pigeonholed into being a solo artist when I'd always been in bands since I was 15 years old. Okay. I played acoustic and stuff, but I'd always had a band or something like that, and when not really good bands, but
right.
But when I got kind of pushed into the for winning that, it was a solo kind of idea, and so I tried to release a record as a solo artist, and I just felt that I didn't want it to be all about me. I didn't want it to just be it's the Nixie show, and I like the idea of the band where everybody has influence and everybody is working together, and it's not just all about one person, Right. And it's just more of a family and a team of people rather than just...
Because the show kind of just is focusing on you.
Yeah.
All those people are kind of just
with the solo stuff, yeah.
Exactly.
So this is just... I just didn't like it anymore, and I was well, what do I like? I like listening to hardcore, post-hardcore, and stuff like that. But then I also like Louis Armstrong. So I was
so you went back to those roots, you mentioned.
I kept the vocal styles a little bit, and then I kind of screamed more in the beginning of Stitched Up Heart. I was just we came right out the gate with "Is this the way you get to hell?" kind of insinuating, hey, am I going to hell for just choosing this path or this path, and whatever, let's see how this turns out. And that was 2010.
Right, and those were awesome songs. Mm-hmm. Next question is, the fans, they always love to know about bands, if you have any pre-rituals that you do before a show. Is there something that you guys always do together, or you do yourself that always gets you in the mood for the show? Maybe something you can share.
Yeah, I do these, I call them really annoying vocal warm-ups find the woman's voice is so like soothing that it does kind of zen me out. So for like 15 minutes I go, ah, you know, like and everybody's like, ah, not again. But
Showtime.
that chills. And then I do some stretches and stuff right before I go on stage, and I kind of have to be left alone for a second because I need to get into monster mode, you know, where you just kind of just beast mode and just, you know, like bottle up that energy. And I usually kind of don't talk too much beforehand as well. And even after the show, I try to not talk too much. It's kind of hard anyway, or trying to talk over loud music. It's pretty, but
That's cool.
I try to kind of zen out and,
like that.
and watch the other bands and chill.
Very cool. I like that. I like that answer. Did you notice I have orange and black for the Halloween?
Look at the Halloween tour.
Your shirt, exactly.
Oh yeah, you are in for a treat. One-Eyed Doll is so fun. They're just, it's just like an amazing, like theatrical, avant-garde kind of performance, and she's like got this really cool, like little creepy girl character, and tells all these stories.
I saw them 3 years ago actually in Cleveland at Peabody's, which has since been torn down, with the Butcher Babies.
Yeah.
It was the first time I saw them, and it was amazing.
That's a good show.
Another thing the fans have asked is, what is the strangest or funniest thing you have seen like happen at a show, or something that's happened to you, or maybe somebody else in the band at one of your shows?
There's a lot.
Oh,
I'll keep it PG as much as possible, but well, there was this one guy that was crowd surfing in a wheelchair.
Really?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then there's mosh pits with, you know, wheelchairs, and that was the Slipknot show actually. It was Slipknot, and then there's like this crowd surfing wheelchair guy, and a guy that got naked. Decker's like, get naked! Just kidding.
He did.
He just dropped trout, everything. Just got butt naked. I mean, you probably read the article, I mentioned that. That was pretty funny. Put his clothes right back on. It was like he's done it before. Like, knows how to take his clothes off like that. Put them right back on.
He didn't need a lot of egging on for that.
No, he was just naked.
Very good.
Mary got into a fight once with a girl.
Mary, he's such a mean.
He's so mean, I know. He's like such a mean guy.
He's so intense.
The one behind the camera.
He's so intense. All right, now recently you guys have made some changes in the band.
Dorian and
one being the lineup,
Yeah.
What made you decide to move Merritt to guitar and bring in Randy for bass and Dorian for guitar?
Actually, he decided, because he's originally a guitar player, and we just kind of like had him do the bass thing, and I think he kind of got tired of people being like, oh, that band was awesome, did you see it? And he's like, yeah, I was in it. Like, nobody notices the bass player. And so,
no love for the bass player.
I know, and so, poor guy. But no, he just, you know, bass is fun, but he wanted to challenge himself a little more. So I was like, well, make a decision. What do you want to do? And he's like, guitar. So yeah, we grabbed Randy and Dorian, and that process was, I've always wanted to have two guitarists. That process to find the right people, because, you know, you can get somebody, and I don't want this to be an open door policy. Unfortunately, sometimes people have different views after touring for years. They get tired of it, or they have other aspirations. So, or we just, you know, it's just not working. So we just wanted to make sure that the people were the right fit, and hopefully they stick around. Hopefully I'm not that crazy.
Now, did you know these guys before from maybe previous bands, or how did you know?
Merritt knew Randy and Dorian, so they actually kind of came in through him. And yeah, I mean, they were actually, Dorian and Merritt were both in a band called Cyclone 9, which is like an industrial band, and then Randy was in a band called London After Midnight. So it's weird, they're all three industrial band people going into like a kind of metal pop band, but they're all really excited, and I can see like how dedicated they are and how much they want to work for it, and how willing you have to be to give up and sacrifice a lot of things to be on the road as much as we're going to be. So
you guys are on the road quite a bit. Now, how do you feel the next album, you kind of answered this a little bit earlier, is going to differ from, say, Skeleton Key? How is it going to
It's a completely different level of music. like the stuff we were writing before was kind of like, oh, I like this and let's do that. And woo! This is more like concentrated, send a message lyrically. Like I want this message to be, like I want somebody at the beginning of the song to be feeling one way, and then by the end of the song in a completely different mood. I want to grab them
Make them think.
and like pull out their hearts and
Right.
just, you know. But I want also to send a positive message, and a lot of the lyrics, being a lyricist, are very hopeful, but coming from a dark place, because in life right now,
Sure.
I'm in a good place. I'm really happy with everything that's happening, and I came from a dark place, and I just know that that's where I came from, and I had to go through that, and remembering the dark place, it you know, makes you appreciate all the good things that are happening right now.
Very good, very good. Now, it's kind of, you're going right into all my questions. It's pretty good how you're answering these. The next question was, the songs on the new album, are these more meaningful and personal for you than those like off of Skeleton Key?
Well, Skeleton Key was very dark. Like, I mean, there's like Marionette, you know, kill yourself.
Exactly.
Frankenstein, a wounded boy I'm trying to fix. And in this, you know, it's where I am in life. The words just kind of spill out. And Finally Free, for example, is about finally realizing and having that aha moment where you have this epiphany and you realize, wow, I can't believe I was that way for that long, or I was doing this. And I've done a lot of internal research a lot lately, and like trying to work on me inside.
Right.
And because, you know, everybody thinks that, oh, we're good, we're all great people. Yeah, that's great, but there's stuff that we can all work on. There's stuff that, you know, that people don't like to admit, that they're, you know, not the greatest people in the world. So I've been really coming to terms with things that maybe I can work on personally to make myself a better person, and giving back and not being selfish. Everybody's selfish, but trying to be less selfish and do things for other people and really genuinely care. You know?
Well, it sounds like you're evolving and the band's also evolving. You're both moving forward in a positive way, going from what you had in the past.
And all this stuff happened when I stopped drinking. All of the good things that have been happening with this band have happened since the beginning of this year, when I stopped drinking.
Awesome.
It's been almost 9 months.
Very good.
I know. Now I'm addicted to energy drinks, but
So am
hey,
I.
Monster!
Yeah, but that's the ultra, so it's like sugar-free, carb-free, so you're good.
But some other shit that'll kill you.
That's okay. I drink them too, so that's all right. Okay, as a musician, what do you feel is the hardest part of performing? This is kind of a two-part question. And what is the one thing that you will always say take on the road with you? Maybe a personal item or...
The hardest part in performing, for me, in one of the songs particularly, I get really involved in the emotional aspect of who it's about, and like it's about like losing a loved one. And I try not to cry through that song because it's really emotional and really like, I don't want to freaking cry on stage, but you know, it just...
This is on the new album?
On the new record,
okay.
Yeah. Now That You're Gone. Hopefully it'll be on the new record.
Okay.
It's one of the new songs. And also like these high notes, some of these high notes that I pushed myself to limit. This song Monster that we're doing is the highest I've ever sang in any of the songs. Like the entire chorus is, when we were in the studio, I was like, dude, I'm not sure if I could do this. Like live every single day. We recorded it, and I think we went over the chorus 72 times. It's like, you can do it, you just did it 72 times. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah.
That's insane.
So we've been practicing 5-6 nights a week, and
so you feel you got that down?
Yeah. Now it's on autopilot. You know, it's just like, oh, that's where I go. You know, your brain kind of eventually, and the more you push yourself. So you know, I just have to be carefuler with my voice.
Right.
So it's really just making sure now that I'm clear-headed, you know, I'm not just drinking or whatever, I can hear every little note that I do. Like that, you know, every time I'm off or anytime anything's wrong or I'm off timing or something like that, I can hear it. So it's got me like kind of zoned in on being perfect at what, you know.
Okay. Anything you bring on the road, any personal item from home?